and skill the projects and all. So requesting all the members to wholeheartedly support us with their presence, suggestions, and feedback. Thank you. I now invite Club Secretary Brigadier Leader for the Secretary's announcements.
Very good evening, one and all present here. This is our first weekly meeting led by our first lady president, Neetu Saraf. I hope all of you had very nice fellowship today.
Yes.
Okay. 29th June, we had our installation of DG and first lady president of Junction at Niman's Convention Center, and we inducted 25 new members. Monday, 4th July, we had blood donation camp at L&T Factory, Dosbelapur with Disha Satellite Club. We collected 125 units and planted 200 different varieties of fruit plants and other plants. Coming to birthdays and anniversary celebration, Rotary Dinesh and Rajni Juri are celebrating their anniversary today, 8th July. Anil and Rajni Chaudhary, today they are celebrating their anniversary. Ritesh Krishnamurthy and Vardhini, they are celebrating their anniversary on 9th July. Rotarian Gajendra and Maya Agrawal, they are celebrating their anniversary on 9th July. Seema Jajodia, 9th July birthday. Sunita Gar, 12th July. Ritesh Krishnamurthy, 13th July. Jyoti Goenka, 13th July. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to everyone, all of them. Request all members to register on Rotary.org. We have sent WhatsApp messages to all new members how to download Rotary.org.com. And if you have any queries or any doubts, you can reach out to our Joint Secretary, Rotarian Amish Kothari. Thank you so much. That's over to you, President.
Thank you, Meera. Friends, let me announce our upcoming events. 15th of July, we have installation of Interact Club at Florence High School. 26th of July will be installation of Tapovan School. 31st of July will be installation of Rotaract Club of Bangalore Junction. Our next family event will be with breakfast meeting at Hotel Rich Carlton on 24th of July. That being a Sunday, so requesting you all to please attend all the programs as much as possible. Details for all the events will be shared on WhatsApp soon. Our cancer detection van project was announced at the installation ceremony. Today, the project team has visited similar van at Shankara Hospital along with Dr. of Ramaya Hospital. Based on the feedback received from them, we shall be inviting the quotations for equipment required. Today, we also had initial discussion on our scholarship project. I request our Community Service Director, Rotarian Sanjay Gar, to please update the audience about it.
Happy evening, everybody. We are starting scholarship program from this year. Scholarship, we are aiming in next 2 to 3 years, as Shankar Lalji is heading the project as chairman. We are planning to take it to 500 students at least by next 3 years time. This year already admissions have started, and brief criteria what we have made is admissions. The scholarship will be given from 7th standard onwards. In government schools, 7th to 10th standard, 11th and 12th if it is there, and colleges from 11th standard to degree. The criteria basically for government will be screening committee will screen their marks cards for past 3 years after recommendation from the school. In private, it will be 25% participation at least from the school, 25% from the parents, and 50% till 50%. Case to case may go 60-70 also, but otherwise 50% is what we are planning to give a scholarship. And we are also planning, since we are 135 of us in our club, everybody adopt at least one student by 15,000, 20,000. So that is our plan as of now. And we have to give name to this project. So all can do brainstorming and give us a good name. We are also working on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Suggestions are welcome from the members for a good name for the project. It should be a eye-catching name so that everybody got, from the name itself, they know that this is the project for what. As you all know, we have our fundraiser play Mahabharat scheduled on 6th of August at Good Shepherd Auditorium. I request Project Chairman Rotarian Ajay to kindly brief us on the same.
Yes, President, thank you. Dr. B.D. Patel says that could be Vidyadan.
Vidyadan.
Yeah.
Rotarian Sanjay kindly note it now.
It is probably.
Yeah, good evening, members.
You guys,
Yeah.
Oh, acha. Oh.
Good evening, members. So, one of the amazing fundraisers that we have had in the past and which we will be looking forward to with all our fundraisers have been very, very successful. We have lined up a lot of community service projects for the year, and all of these will require funds. So, as a fundraiser, we are having this particular fundraiser called Mahabharat. As you can see, all of these are the original artists of the Mahabharat epic play which was played. They all will be coming. It's a team of close to about 30-35 artists. They will be coming here to Bangalore to participate for this fundraiser. They are coming over as our guests. They're charging a very, very nominally subsidized fee which will cover their expenses. Now, this particular fundraiser is going to be on 6th of August, and I request all the members to actively participate in promoting this particular fundraiser. The proceeds will be used for all our community service projects. Now, the unique part of this particular fundraiser is that it is close to about 2.5 hours late, in which the different perspective to the performers or to the characters which was there, it is going to probably be a little different, and it will give a different portraying of the character which was there. Probably say Duryodhan or Shakuni Mamaji or whatever. We may have had some perception, but this comes with a different perception altogether. So this is going to be an eye-opener and an entertainer. I request all the members to actively participate by way of promoting it with your friends and families to come and enjoy the entertainment. Number one. Number two, reach out to your contacts in your business contacts to come in as platinum sponsors, gold sponsors, silver sponsors, and diamond sponsors. The various categories are there in which they will be given more than good coverage for the participation in terms of financials that they would be doing. That has been laid out. We will need a lot of funds to be coming in from CSR. Our club is a registered trust. They can contribute by way of CSR. ATG benefits are also equally available to the participating individuals or companies, corporates. So I will be reaching out to all of you all once again to make this a grand success. We are looking at a minimum net balance of 50 lakh rupees to be generated through this particular fundraiser, and this will be possible with active participation of everyone. Thank you so much.
I request Rotarian Ajay to explain the members about the business promotion meet which we are having.
Yes. So, friends, we have the Director of Vocational Service, Rotarian Pankaj Bhandari, with us this evening. Pankaj, if you can stand to get recognized. So, as Director of Vocational Service, Pankaj has proposed to have one business meet for Junctionites in collaboration with another fellowship group of Rotary. Rotary means Rotary Business Network. So, we are meeting on Thursday, the 14th of July at Century Club. So, this is going to be pure business interaction, business networking. We will not be discussing Rotary related matters in the business meet. It is going to be a very focused structure in which we all will be educating our members and our Rotarians from other clubs about the business, what we do. The meeting fee is going to be rupees 750, which will include fellowship and dinner. It is at Century Club, Thursday evening, 6 o'clock. I request all the Junctionites to please confirm your participation in the business network, and we want to help all our members grow in their businesses as well. Thank you, President.
Thank you. So maybe you can share the business network group link in the fellowship group once again.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear friends, as our family is growing, we have many new members who have joined in today's meeting. So I request our new members to kindly introduce themselves in 30 seconds each. Avinash, Rotarian Avinash.
Hi, good evening. My name is Avinash. I'm in manufacturing, electrical components, resistors and filters. I live pretty close by.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chetan. I'm a photographer in Chetan. I'm a financial advisor, studying to be a chartered accountant, do taxes and audits.
Welcome. Venkatesh.
Dr. Venkatesh, Chief Cardiologist of Aster RV Hospital at JP Nagar. I live in this area. You must tell that Dr. Venkatesh was a member of
Yes.
and he has come back.
So welcome back to family.
Thank you.
Dharmasti.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Varun. We are manufacturers of Bright Bar, and that's it.
Thank you very much.
Hello, happy evening, everybody. I'm Sunita Garg. I'm very happy to be included in the family of the
Hi, Rupen and Ankesh, just joined this year. Businessman, we are into plastics, we trade across the country. Staying here in January.
Okay, we have few prospective members also with us. So starting with Monica.
Hey everybody, I myself is a chartered accountant. I have a company by name of Lagan.com and we handle accounting and tax compliances for startups.
Please, Paul.
Evening. My name is Chris Paul. I live in Bangalore. I'm married, and I'm an advisor in international business transactions in hospitality. And very soon I should be a member.
We have Mr. Shiv Kumar Agarwal and Mrs. Kusum.
Yes, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Shiva Agarwal. My wife is Shubha Agarwal. We live in Malaysia. I'm into engineering construction.
Just joined is Rupin Rajesh Wells. He is a new member as well. So you can just introduce yourself in 30 seconds.
Yeah, sure. My name is Rajesh Goyal, chartered accountant by profession.
Now is the time for what we have all gathered here. So I now invite Club Service Director Rupin Siddharth to introduce our esteemed speaker, while past President Rupin Vijay escorts him on the dais.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So I'm here to introduce Dr. PRS Chetan, and I don't know whether I'll be able to do justice to it or not, but I'll try my best. Dr. PRS Chetan is a very dynamic, dedicated, and service-minded officer from Karnataka Civil Defense Corps, with vast experience of handling various disasters, both natural and man-made. He, with his dynamic leadership and untiring efforts, took Karnataka Civil Defense to greater heights of glory and was awarded the best civil defense state in the country by Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. Currently, he's serving the department as Additional Chief Officer Commanding, Headquarters and Operations in Karnataka. On several challenging assignments of law and order duties, he ably commanded and motivated the Quick Response Team, which is also known as the QRT, to perform under tough conditions. He has served as Special Police Officer in the state of Karnataka. To his credit, he has taken part in over 1,000 search and rescue operations. Yes, 1,000 search and rescue. During emergencies like fire accidents, building collapse, train accidents, urban flooding, and air crash. And during various natural disasters like the Chennai floods, North Karnataka floods, Mangalore and Bangalore floods, Kodagu floods, landslides, and in his illustrious career of 2 decades, he has saved over 4,000 lives. And He is recognized nationally for his stellar role in fight against COVID-19 operations. He has handled several tasks and served in various capacities such as Chairman of Corona Seneca Task Force, Nodal Officer for Home Quarantine Enforcement Squad. He, along with his team of over 100 police, filed over 1,000 police cases against violators. And under his leadership, a record of 12 million food packets were distributed in less than 60 days. He is undoubtedly Karnataka's most respected Corona warrior. He also served as nodal officer for vigilance, inspection, and hospital audit for COVID-19 and handled the most difficult assignment as node officer for crematoriums during the most difficult second wave when relatives and families of COVID deceased stayed away. So he and his team gave decent burials to thousands and thousands of COVID deceased. Dr. Chetan commanded his troops to the most difficult terrains of Kodagu and took up the challenge and risked his life to rescue over 900 people from the remote places of Kodagu, and was praised by media to no limits. There are, by the way, a bunch of such achievements which I'll just skip in the interest of time. For his dedication and selfless service in civil defense, Dr. P.R.S. Chetan is decorated with the Honorable Chief Minister's Gold Medal in the year 2012 and His Excellency President of India's President Medal for the meritorious service in civil defense on the occasion of Independence Day 2013. And he is the first civil defense officer in the country to be awarded the Gallantry Shaurya Medal for his bravery, valor and courage in saving thousands of people on the 74th Independence Day. In short, Dr. P.R.S. Chetan is a very good motivator, inspiring speaker, dedicated and dynamic officer of civil defense, and the first civil defense officer to be decorated with the Gallantry Medal in the country. So here is Dr. P.R.S. Chetan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for that nice introduction. I remember last time I was invited to a Rotary function. I don't remember which club it is.
Same, our club.
No, that was online. A physical meeting. I was invited. I went to that club. As he was reading the biodata, they also read that. I was part of the Jayalalitha's court case when she appeared in Bangalore. So I worked in the prisons of Bangalore. I was there in the presence of Mysore. The gentleman, for the paucity of time, he skipped the first paragraph and said, this gentleman was in Mysore prison. He was later in Bangalore prison. With great difficulty, we brought him back. The introduction was totally complete. Luckily, in that hall, there was no doors at the rear, and half of them were passed. When I entered the hall, I remember when I was talking to the president, I don't know, in Rotary clubs, we are so used to calling the first lady of the club. That's what we call the spouse. Now we here have a lady who is the president for the first time, the first woman to adorn this chair. Congratulations, madam. My good wishes. So, presiding officer, President Neetuji, a very accomplished chartered accountant, topper of the college, topper of the university. So we are so glad that you have taken up this responsibility. I'm glad we have wonderful Rotarians around and the secretary designate and the entire team. I don't want to go by the names. I have a lot of friends here. Just, I know very well 30 minutes is 30 minutes. I'm going to stick to that. So I'm very glad to address you. I remember I visited so many Rotary clubs. I'm so happy to see so many women as part of this club. I don't know how many of you realize it was such a challenge to make women as members as part of Rotary. I still remember the first club in California who took that bold decision to induct a woman, and the club was put under status quo for 10 long years. They had to go to the United States courts to fight for the rights of women to be part of this organization. And many may not remember 1950 Rotary International Convention. The resolution to include women was first brought out by a club from India and no other club in the world. So as Indians, we were the first. It is based on amendment asking for women to be included. Then Sri Lanka, Japan, and other countries joined. But the fight took 10 long years and it finally went to the United States Supreme Court. And then the woman was allowed to join the Rotary. But I wanted to tell you, in just 10 years after 1989, 225,000 women joined Rotary. And if at all, we call Rotary as world's #1 service organization. It's because of the women in Rotary who made it possible. So a big round of applause for all women. Bangalore Junction is one of the most prestigious clubs, the second largest club, the Roll of Honor Club, and so on. I've been last 30, 40 days back, I was with your international president, Rotarian Chetan Mehta. When we were talking to him, I was telling him I have good friends like Vijay ji, I have good friends like Sanjay Garg and others. He knows everything about your club because he said that's one of the biggest club and it has a potential to become #1. I asked what is the criteria to become #1. He said all that they have to do is add another 100 members and they become #1.
So we are on the job.
Yes, I could see that. And many of you who have just joined, I congratulate you for your decision to join the world's largest service organization. I want you to know 1939 to 1945, the Second World War. Because when you speak about Rotary, we think of blood donations. We think of helping the youth. We think of pulse polio. But not many speak about this role what Rotarians played. 1939 to 1945, 6 years and 12 days of Second World War, Rotarians were in the forefront of saving those soldiers. They don't even understand who is from Allied force, who is from Axis force. Any soldier injured, there was a stretcher party of Rotarians who lifted them to safety because they don't understand who is fighting against whom. That's what Rotary stands for. So you're all part of such a wonderful organization. I'm so grateful to you. I'm also thankful to all those who have joined online. They have the advantage of switching off anytime they want, which you don't have. So with this, friends, I just quickly wanted to run through a few things. Leadership in action. It's not a position. I'm not talking about the leadership here. I'm talking about the leadership in this hall. I'm talking about those 2.5 lakh Rotarians in India. You have over 50,000 projects in India. The projects worth last year, despite COVID, 225 crores worth service projects was executed by Rotary. Let me tell you without any hesitation, as the chairman of the task force, Government of Karnataka announced a very ambitious project during the first lockdown. They said, anybody wanted food, you can dial this number. Wide publicity was given. Nobody knows from where the food is going to come in. That's how government works. Nobody knows who is going to deliver this food. But there was an announcement, there was a full page advertisement in Times of India. Then they did not find any suitable person. Somebody said there's one guy who will do it. They put me there as chairman. Then I called up. The first set of people who dropped in were the two set of people, both belong to Rotary. The first were the Junctionites who came there and said, can I do something for that? And the next from Agarwal Samaj, Sanjay Garg team, they came in. Every day, I'm supposed to deliver 225,000 food packets across Bangalore. There will be phone calls right from 2 packets to 2,000 food packets. Some politician will call and say, I want 20,000. So sitting there, uniform personnel, we have to do that job. All that we did, we brought the defense personnel, 300 bikes. We brought Swiggy on board. We said, give you a software we wanted to adopt to government way. So whoever calls, we will deliver at their doors. So we did that job for almost 40 days, as he rightly put it, around 1.2 million food packets were served in a record time. That was possible because many Rotarians They couldn't come directly, but I know for sure at 12, we will have 5,000 food packets promised by Rotary Junction and 25,000 food packets promised by Agarwal Samaj. If no other food packet comes, this 30,000 will come. That was the confidence what government has at Rotary. Let me tell you, I'd like to congratulate you for the good work that you have done. Any good work we do in government, we get rewarded in a different way. Immediately I was transferred. I was put as vigilance officer for hospitals. I don't want to name the hospitals. Many hospitals did a great job. So a few hospitals charged 72 lakhs for patients. 72 lakhs per patient for COVID patient. Finally, his wife has to sell that house and get him discharged. She came to me with a complaint. I filed 1,000 FIRs. Probably the remaining part of my life, I should be only visiting courts to give the evidences because of these 1,000 cases. So if at all I applied for the Guinness Books of World Record, I would have been on the top because nobody else would have complained to police for 1,000 cases. So I did that. Immediately they changed me. They thought this guy is a troublemaker, we should put him somewhere else. They found a wonderful place and they sent me an order. The order read, you have been transferred with immediate effect. You will be nodal officer, all the big things. Last line says, you will be in charge of all crematoriums in Bangladesh. Second wave. Second wave. 500 to 600 deaths a day. You might have seen on televisions. Again, we took over myself and Major Manivannan, an IAS officer of high caliber. Trust me, I spent most part of my task force time living in crematoriums because I can't come back home, I have a family. Second wave is so deadly, people were scared. And I wanted to tell you one very important thing. Go back, buy a book, a very interesting book. Top 5 regrets of dying. There's a book called Top 5 Regrets of Dying. You should read that book. That book speaks about various things, what were the regrets and so on. But I'm sharing my experience because leadership is action. Imagine what I could have done being sitting in crib. I had an option, I could have cribbed. I said, government is like this, I could have gone to media, made a publicity. No. Not 1,000, more than 1,000 employees. Such a pathetic situation. We will call up the number that's available in the patient's data sheet. The doctor picks up a phone and says, sir, this phone belongs to a patient who is in ICU and is counting his last hours. His wife is dead in another hospital, husband is in another hospital. Whom do you call? So we call up some relatives. They request us, so please do this formalities. So I did all kinds of formalities. In India, whatever number of caste, creed, and procedures, probably I know all that because I've done all that to cremate. Why I'm saying this? The essence of service, I would have visited hundreds and hundreds of Rotary clubs across country, and even otherwise, abroad. What I learned of service from Rotary, probably that's what we implemented as government official here, because service above self is what we learned from all of you. I'd like to thank you for that teaching. I'll never forget it. So, quickly, I'll run through. Please remind me 5 minutes before. I don't want to overshoot the time that I've been given. There's an Australian nurse, Bronnie Ware, you might have heard about. She worked only with the terminally ill patients. And this hospital is known for a very, very high kind of a setup. Billionaires were admitted. And even the billionaire knows he's going to die in next 15 days, 20 days, 30 days, whatever. This nurse quietly went around seeking their inputs. What is your regret of dying? Is there anything that you regret that you're going to die? And she tabulated all those regrets. And you know what was the top one? The topmost regret of dying. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Why did I work so hard to earn so much of money? Trust me, friends. You might have read in Times of India during that second wave. A woman called me somewhere at around 3 a.m. Somebody has shared my number. She said, this one gentleman will pick your call and help you. She was traveling all the way with her husband from Kanakpura. He was living in one of the best apartments of Shobha in Kanakpura. She was coming in an ambulance. Somewhere near Apollo Hospital and Banagata Road. He died. He was just 42 years. She immediately took him to Apollo Hospital. They tested, you know that we have a cardiologist with us. Straight line ECG, flat ECG has to be taken. And then they requested for a death certificate, medical certificate. Doctor said, see, look, he died outside the hospital. So I can't give you a certificate because this is COVID. You better take her to a government hospital. You brought him to Nimax. The doctor said, he died outside our hospital. I need to recommend for a post-mortem report because we are not sure how he died. Young lady of 33, 34. She called me when I spoke to the police inspector. And the police said, Nimax hospital, she went to the Nimax police station. They said, no, he died in Banagata limits, so you have to go there. So this lady at 3 a.m., she goes to Banagata Road. Then the Banagata police says, how sure you are that he died in my police limits? Where did you start from? She said, Kanakpura. He said, you better go to Kanakpura police station. So how bureaucracy works. Then finally, I got it sorted out. We did a postmortem. I never knew who he is, what he is. She requested me. She said, you did so much favor to me. I wanted to ask you for one more favor. I said, what is that? She gave a box in a bag. She said, you cremate or burn whatever you're going to do, please place this. I did not ask her what it was. I thought probably it's something what he likes. Probably this gentleman has this habit of having a couple of pegs of whiskey every night. She has given the most expensive one. Later I understand that cost us somewhere around $900 US. She said, please place it. I just did that. I came back. Next day in Times of India, I see a big article. The gentleman whom we laid to rest was the global vice president of Citibank in New York, controlling the entire global business. He is highly paid, young professional. His father was serving as a bureaucrat when Manmohan Singh ji was the prime minister. Such a high family, and who were there to see him off at his last journey? We were two of us sitting. Nobody else, because the second wave was so tough, nobody even wanted to come and give him a decent burial. So why I'm saying this, when we are talking about the regrets of life, later that lady called up, she said, I wanted to donate some big sum of money to some charity. And she did a lot of charity. She adopted some 10 kids. She adopted 10 kids and so on. So the first regret which I've seen right in front of my eyes, why did I work so much to make money? What am I going to do with that? So my first lesson of leadership to you, please go back and spend the money that you earn. Seriously, there's no point in keeping that. What are you going to do? All of us, except a few, I could see most of them are 45, 50 years plus. What are you going to do with that money? Because the other time I was similar, because I'm talking too serious, people should not start crying, because Neetuji would have given a different opinion about who is the speaker. And last time I was same kind of a discussion about money and other things. The man who was around 80 years old, 80 Salva. He married a very young girl of 24 years, most beautiful looking girl. Then the parents went and asked that girl, the friend went and asked, अरे ये बुड्ढा से क्या है यार, क्यों शादी किया? वो बोला दो चीजें, बोला क्या है? पहला उनका इनकम, दूसरा उसका दिन कम. Somebody wants me to translate in English, I will not be able to. And the second regret, on a very serious note, what was the second? I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself not the life others expected of me. How much we think, what people will think, what will they think, what will somebody else think? I will tell you, at the end of somebody's journey, nobody thinks anything. So better you think what you want, do what you want. This is, I'm reading right out of the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying. And the third one, I wish I spent more time with my family and friends. When is this realization coming? 15 days to go, 30 days to go. At this point in time, I want you to remember one thing. All heard about the world's richest man, Warren Buffett. 100 billion investments, 100 billion. I don't even know to convert it in Indian rupees. His 50th wedding anniversary. He has 63 flagship companies. And the wedding party, the 50th wedding anniversary, was happening in 7 different continents. And the final one was in London, where 63 country heads from Europe, America, Middle East, everyone was present. Husband and wife are seated, Warren Buffett and Mrs. Warren. People are asking them some questions. So one young man asked from there, can I ask you a question? Probably you should be a Rotarian, I don't know, possible. He said, Warren Buffett, can I ask you a question? They said, yes. Then, please come. Then this gentleman asked a question. Sir, tell me the secret of your happy married life for 50 years. Look at that adjective, you added happy to the married life. He said, happy married life. And before Warren Buffett could even speak, he was just picking the mic. The wife grabbed the mic from his hand. And trust me, there was no reaction on the face of the man who owns 100 billion. When the wife grabbed the mic, he was smiling. By the time half of the people know what is the reason behind happy marriage life. Then she said, she picked up the mic and said, number one, throughout our 50 years of life, come what may, unless he's traveling, Warren will be at home at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. We will have dinner together at 8 p.m. After the dinner, we both will take a walk around and talk all important issues. And later part of the life, we used to teach our children. We used to take tuitions for our grandchildren, now great-grandchildren. Now Warren Buffett was 73, 74 at that point in time. So people were wondering, you and I, we make Baijus richer by sending them to tuition. Do you think Warren Buffett did not have money to teach their children? Why? She said, 6:30, 7 p.m. you'll be back home unless he's traveling. So the balance of life, that's another important leadership in action. You all expected me to take class only for Neetuji, Meeraji and others here? No. Life lessons, what I learned. Similar thing, Aditya Birla, the Aditya Birla group, Kumar Mangalam Birla. They have a practice in their house, come what may. 7 p.m. they have to hand over the mobile phones to his mother. Each one of them, including Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla and others, all the CEO, they have to hand over them. 8 to 9, they will have dinner, they will have discussions, they will watch TV, somebody will read a book. Even today, they continue this practice. There's an article in Times of India, you can read that. So the next important thing, don't have regrets in life later. You might be wondering, I only said the 3 regrets and I did not read out the next 2. I purposely did not read out because I want you to go and fill it up. Just make a list of things that you wanted to do. I've seen enough of it. In fact, every single time we went on operations, Sanjay ji and Vijay ji knows that. The most important part, every single time that we went for an operation, what we learned is never giving up. Every single operation. Go back and Google and see those videos. Tungabhadra river of 3,40,000 cusecs of water. On the other side of the river, We have 350 Americans and Europeans in a resort. And the place of operation is just 1 kilometer away from the dam. And you know the force of the water. So I had to cross the river and get people out. There were 4 battalions of people who went from different forces from the state. They said they couldn't do it. They said it's very risky. When my Director General called me and said, Chetan ji, you people are experienced, you should do it. We went there. My only motivation is simple. If a uniformed personnel cannot do it, who else is going to? So we went across the river. 8 times we brought out people. Every time we crossed, we were holding our breath. We know for sure it's the most riskless. On the 9th time, when I was going back to rescue people, right in the middle of the Tungabhadra river, my boat capsized. We were like pins in the river. We were like papers. Only the life jacket is there, nothing else. We were washed away. There were 50 feet, 100 feet depth. We had to swim, sail. I was saved. We read 4,000 lives. All that I was craving is somebody will save my life. NDR boat came. I was very confident. Well, my colleagues have come. They're going to save me. They said, "Yeah, both risky. Hai. Sambalna, bas." They went. Then after some time, one of my sub-inspectors, he held a tree and helicopter picked him up. I was not that lucky. I went 14 kilometers away. Every time I fought to save myself, I was pushed away. But I wanted to fight and come back alive. Because it will send out a wrong signal if I die. Nobody else will take such operations in future. We had some additional life jackets in a boat. There's a huge rock in between the river. And I was worried where I'm going to bang into that. By that time, one of the life jackets passed away and somebody saw that. He called up the media and said, "We saw the commander struggling for his life. Later, we saw only the life jacket going." And all local media, on one side, my rescue operation, another side, they said, "Commander died in operations." In no time, 7 media people landed in my house. They asked my wife, "What is your response?" कोई बोल रहा है हमारा channel लगाओ. The other guy said, "नहीं हमारा channel लगाइए." Every channel was showing only this operation, and they asked, "What is your view?" My wife replied just one line. She said, "Any soldier wearing any color of uniform with a tricolor in his chest will not die so easily. He will fight till last." Important lessons of leaders in action: never give up. Never give up. I've seen in my death in front of my own eyes. Being in the river, it's raining, flooded. Suddenly I felt my whole body becoming warm. I could not hear, I could not see. I know that's my end moment. All that I remembered, trust me friends, I'm not exaggerating. All that I remembered is one flash. I remembered the face of my mother, my wife, children. I could not remember it for the second time. Believe me. I'm trying to recollect, I could not get it. So I know that's the end of my. And finally, I was shifted. I'm cutting that long story short. They moved me to the government hospital. Over 2,000 youth were shouting slogans. They know very well what government does. When somebody dies, they'll put them in the hospital until they prepare. And finally, they say, "Is no more." So the youngsters were fighting. Then the local MP came. He suggested the doctor, the government doctor. He said, "Do one thing, better show him that he's alive so that people are peaceful." So they brought I was kind of sedated. They brought my bed, put it there. There was barricades. So all youngsters came. Suddenly, when they thought I'm no more, they saw me breathing. They don't know what to do. कोई आया ऐसा नमस्कार किया एक चक्कर मार के चले गए. Most of them. So I literally know what happens if I die. Do you think they're going to do something? Nothing. 1 week there would have been televisions, newspapers, then people would forget. Same thing happened in COVID. Nobody was there. We went and worked. So the first lesson, leadership lesson, never give up. The second important thing, I just quickly I'll wrap it because I know time is very short. Overcoming crisis. How many times we would have felt people insulted when we go and ask them for some help or for any reason. I still remember Leyland Stanford. That old man went with this kind of some ordinary coat. Husband and wife went and sat in Harvard. Some of you might know that story. They asked, can I meet the president? The secretary asked, do you have an appointment? The old man said, no, I don't, but I wanted to meet him. Said he's busy throughout the day. So the whole couple sat in the chair, their perseverance. After some time, they started opening up a biscuit and they were having a little water. Then the secretary went inside and said, sir, it looks like they're not going to go, but I meet them. So they went and sat in front of the president of Harvard. And the president of Harvard asked, what do you want? The old man started, I'm sorry to tell you, my son loved Harvard, but unfortunately he died here. We wanted to just donate something in his name. The minute this old man said this, the president got furious. He said, what do you mean? Do you know how much it costs to build an Harvard? If I build memorial for everybody dead, Harvard will become a graveyard. The whole couple felt very insulted. They said, no, please, that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to set up a library. He said, nothing doing. The wife immediately said, women are very smart. The wife said, don't worry, that's good. They went back. They're one of the topmost businessmen of those days. They went back and started Stanford. And there was a vote for all those who was neglected by Harvard. There's a vote. So Stanford even today stands as world's #1 university because of the commitment. So never get worried if people neglect you. If people look upon you in a very small way, don't bother. I still remember Madan Mohan Malviya. All would have heard about those inspiring stories. He wanted to build the world's topmost university, Hindu Banaras University. I'm not talking any politics here, please, because now it's very difficult. Anything you speak next day, it's politics. I don't speak that. He went on asking money all over India. And please go back and Google. 125 years when he wanted to set up that university. What are the faculties they have? Chemical engineering, plastic engineering. Can you even believe? I don't even think plastic existed anywhere, but look at their vision. Finally, he went to Hyderabad. There was a Nizam. They said, Nizam is the most richest man. Why did you ask him? He went and asked, can you give me some donation? I know that you are a philanthropist. He asked, what do you want to do? I want to set up an Hindu Banaras University. Nizam was very furious. Apparently, he removed his footwear and threw at him, which was studded with diamonds and all. Imagine if anybody else going there for a fundraiser, somebody puts you down, you won't even go back to them. All that Madan Mohan Malviya did is bowed down and took both the footwear, came back to Charminar in Hyderabad. He said, Nizam's footwear is for sale, auction. And trust me, 50% of the money he raised from that auction, and immediately Nizam got worried. Some fellow wearing my footwear and walking in front of me. So he said that all the money and said, I will buy it back. And Madan Mohan Malviya said, all that I thought is you will give me for some foundation. I never thought you are so generous to give for the entire building. So never give up. That's another lesson. And the third important one, believe in your strength. Believe in your strength. Rotarians has a huge strength across the world, 220 countries, geographical areas, 13.5 lakh Rotarians doing what government cannot do. Government cannot do everything. In fact, the very theme what we are talking today, your president has given me a nice subject, leadership in action, not a position. I don't know how many of you know that. This was picked from our founder, Paul Harris' statement. You know what he said? Whatever Rotary may mean to us, I repeat, whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world, it will be known by the results we achieve. For the world, it only knows by the results you achieve. They're not bothered about what you do, where you meet, what you do. So, friends, whatever projects that you are taking up, this is going to be a landmark here. There are only two important persons in Rotary. I also go to Lions and other places, I keep talking. There are only two important people. One is the international president, next is the club president. And luckily, both are women. And imagine 117 years, we have a first woman as president. That's a great time. So, Friends, you need to achieve all that you wanted to do that. And I'll wrap it with next two more things. When I'm talking about believe in your strength, I want to ask you a question. Do you have practice of going to church, temples, gurudwara, mosque? Most of you? How many? All of you? All of you, can I take it that way? Okay. What do we do there? What do we do at temples? What do we do in church? What do we do in mosque or gurudwara? We pray. Where do we pray? We look at a statue or a stone idol and we pray. When we believe that the stone idol can listen to us and answer our questions, I think it's time we should start believing in ourselves. Because when we can believe in something which may or may not happen, start believing in yourself. I remember that Ratan Tata in one of the bulletproof Jaguars when he was going down in Mumbai on a rainy day, he saw a couple in a scooter with three kids managing in a scooter. We all see that every day. There was a pothole. Luckily, it was Bombay, not a Bangalore. Otherwise, again, it becomes a controversy. People will ask, where did you find the pothole? Because everywhere there's only pothole. So, in a Mumbai pothole, the kid fell and they were injured. Ratan Tata could have easily gone because security risk, he did not get up. He unwinded his glasses, he asked driver, take them. Because there's a follow-up car which follows Ratan Tata. He said, take them. Admitted in the hospital. Next day morning, he calls a meeting of all the engineers. He says, we are going to make the world's cheapest car, less than 1 lakh. That's how Tata Nano was born. All engineers said, sir, people started talking. Sabko umar zyada ho gaya. This is how we met. Where is it possible at 1 lakh to come with a car? But trust me, friends, every single meeting he presided until that car came out. Not succeed, that's a different story. But perseverance is another important lesson that you need to follow. And the last one, I wanted to talk to you. I spoke to you about balancing your life, which I'm sure you will do it. We spoke enough about that, balancing your life and profession. I'm sure. Go around the world. You are already travel more. Do more service. At the end of the day, I'll tell you, the giver's gain. It's not the receiver. Tell me how many gifts you would have received. Do you remember one gift that people gave? You all got married, hundreds of them would have come and given you something. You bought a new house, people would have got something. Many times it would have been recycled, that's a different story. People come and give you. But do you remember of any of this gift? But tell me a Rotary project that you attended, you gave something, and that smile you saw in the faces of the beneficiary, which you will never forget in your life. I'll tell you, if I had come back alive from the Tungabhadra river, which everybody knows, you can Google it. In the entire country, Tungabhadra river is known for infested with the highest number of crocodiles. Killer rocks. If I had to come back alive, do you think I'm a superhuman being, Superman? No. The service that what we rendered is what saved me and nothing else, let me tell you. Very honest. I think even Neetu started listening to my story and stopped looking at the clock. Okay. Friends, because I know for sure leadership is also managing time. And last few things. Your future is created by what you do today. Neetuji is going to be the president only for 365 days. It's not that somebody is going to tell you, you did a fantastic job. Why don't you continue for next 5 years? Do we give that option? We don't give. Generally, we don't. There are few clubs where the same president continues for last 25 years. They don't do any activity. I was talking to retired Nagesh, your past governor, is a good friend of mine. So all the clubs we ask them for, we have directors, right? Like Sanjay Garg is for the service committee and so on. So fundraising, a lot of committees we do. There are some clubs we send out such list. And in one occasion, we went through the list and found that gentleman had passed away some 4 years back. And still he's been made director for some activity. Immediately, governor called up the president, asked, I believe he passed away. He said, is that so? Then the governor was persistent, he was asking. He said, sir, पिछले 10 साल से यही लिस्ट भेज रहा हूँ, कोई मेरे को नहीं पूछा, अब पहले आदमी पूछ। So our club is not like that. Junctions. I was going through, your editor is around. I went through the.
Yeah, he's online.
Oh, she's online. My appreciations. She's done a fantastic job. It's called connections. Crossings, yeah. Crossings. That's a wonderful one. So friends, start working now. Your future is created by what you do today and not tomorrow. And the next important thing, the height of your achievement depends on the depth of your desire. Want to achieve something, you will. Imagine 2.5 lakh food packets a day. It was impossible for a government agency to do that. We never had the bandwidth. But we only had one thing, we had the will to do that. If you have the will, 50 lakhs fundraising will happen. Probably we'll do it much more than that. So you need to support. Attend all your service projects. That is where you are going to enjoy your benefits of your membership, not just attending meetings. Service projects I've seen many times. Last time, one of the Rotary Club in a rural place, they called me, I did not even ask for what. Luckily, Vijayji gave me a lot of details of what is going to happen, who is going to be present, all those things. In that Rotary Club there, I did not ask, they said, you're going to inaugurate. Immediately accepted, I thought some schools. Finally, I landed there are 50 toilets. They built 50 toilets and they want me to inaugurate. Don't visualize what you are doing. I know what you are visualizing. Only cut the tape. They could easily read your mind, what is going on in your mind. I cut the tape, inaugurated that. After 2 years, I met that lady who was the chairperson in district for that project. She said, sir, every day students go inside, they think only of you. She just wanted to make me feel happy. I said, why will that think? Then I told my constable who was driving my jeep, I said, yaar, thoda doubt aa raha hai. This male, female toilets, probably they should put my photo or something. Ek chakkar to dekh ke aa jayega. Luckily, they did not do that. So, Rotary, I always have mixed. But one thing I can tell you for sure, nobody can beat you in committed service. The amount of service what Rotarians do is world class. Please continue to do that. You are called as what? Skywalkers? What is this here? Star walkers. You are star walkers. Please do that and imagine Rotary to achieve bigger things. And the last thing, please remember, it's going to be tough. Not that easy to do projects. What comes easy won't last long. What lasts long won't come easy. So you have to put in your efforts. My good wishes to President, all the past President, and my dear Rotarians, wish you all the best. Wishing your family all the best. Thank you so much for the time. Go back. Think on the aspects. Do you have any regrets of life? I'm not talking about regrets of dying. I'm talking about regrets of life, so that you have got so much time to correct those regrets. Spend more time with your family. When Kumaramangalam Birla can put off his phone at 7 p.m., when Warren Buffett can put off phone at 7 p.m., 12 baje hum dekh rahe, is there any message? Only garbage hi aata hai na, kya? WhatsApp is the world's biggest garbage. So spend quality time. Attend all service projects. Whatever you want to contribute. We are not saying that you should give the big money, because chartered accountant knows how to get money and from where to get it. Luckily, we have one more chartered accountant joining us. So they know kiske paas paisa zyada hai. So chartered accountant would have done an analysis already. And Neetu is the topper of the university, so she would have done some analytics. Kiske paas kitna paisa hai, kaisa lena hai. So do well. My good wishes. I'll be closely watching your website to see the biggest success of Rotary Junction. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Quickly take up 2 questions. If anybody has any question.
Somebody can give me his phone number, please.
Yeah, you can take it from me.
I'll send.
Please put your name and.
With your permission, President, JRD Tata, Dhirubhai Ambani, Gandhi, I have not met. PRS Chetan. Second wave tha, he lost his brother to COVID. And we were very closely working. A person who has saved so many lives, he lost his brother. Raat ko he called me 1 o'clock, he told just no heart attack aaya, and I lost my brother. And 3 o'clock again he calls me, "Arey Sanjay Saab, somebody needs oxygen machines." Mala, you lost your brother. Bola, we are at a war. जो चला गया उसको नहीं बचा सके, लेकिन जो है उसको बचाएंगे. So that is the commitment. That is the, मतलब for me is the ideal. कि ऐसा सर्विस हमको करना चाहिए.
So glad that we have a doctor from Aster. They helped us in a very big Aster RV as well as Aster Hebal. We used to talk through Heyman and get some crucial time. We'll call them and say, "Sir, हमारे लिए एक bed check."
We have another doctor with us, Dr. Sunil from Vikram Hospital.
Vikram Hospital. I know we were only troubling Sanjay ji. Thank you so much, sir.
I'm sure everybody is so mesmerized that they can't think of anything. I now invite Ruby and Nikhil to give vote of thanks.
Sir, it was a very
You can come.
come forward. Sure. Thank you, sir, for the lovely session. It was very inspiring and a very enriching session. For youngsters like me, I think listening to you, I felt like, what are you guys doing? We have to stand up and do something. I think it was very inspiring to hear that. I think everyone would agree with me. It was a very enriching session. We absolutely enjoyed it. Thank you for being a part of this, sir. We hope to see you more. Thank you.
Thank you. Opening presence of Ruby and Ketan Kumar. Krishna Kumar. Okay.
Looking at an opportunity to join junction.
Meeting is adjourned.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे बोलो भारत माता की जय.
I was so mesmerized with Dr. Chetan's talk, I forgot to give him a token of appreciation. And this is not reset.
Thank you so much. Regards to your governor, Jitendra ji, Jitendra Neja and Sunanda ji. I know Governor's Home Club will have highest pressure because everybody will be looking up to you. Please do well. Convey my regards to your district governor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Veera.